Breaking the fourth wall, a cornerstone of immersive theater, has been experimented with since the dawn of theater in the 6th century BCE. In conventional theater, the stage is surrounded by 3 physical walls, 2 on each side and 1 behind. The fourth wall is the imaginary barrier between the audience and the actors, thereby leaving the audience to function passive observers to the action taking place on stage. The actors are typically limited to the reality constructed on stage and thus do not acknowledge that an audience is watching. When performers acknowledge the presence of an audience, the distinctions between the real world and the world portrayed on the stage are blurred. This is called breaking the fourth wall, because if there were a physical fourth wall, performers would need to break through it in order to speak directly to or interact with the audience. Early forms of immersion, otherwise referred to as interactive theater, can be found in Greek drama where the actor or the chorus speaks to the audience. One example is the 2-act play first performed in 405 BCE entitled The Frogs by Aristophanes, the comedic playwright of ancient Athens. The Frogs was liberally adapted as a musical by Stephen Sondheim and Burt Shevloff in 1941 and has been staged as recently as 2011 in St. Petersburg, Florida. In each incarnation of The Frogs, a Greek chorus is utilized as a way of engaging the audience. Since the late 16th and early 17th century, English poet and playwright William Shakespeare has been well known for his soliloquies in which a character on stage talks directly to the audience. One noteworthy example is at the end of A Midnight Summer's Dream, when a character of Puck suggests that if the audience has been offended, to simply act as if they have been asleep and pretend the whole play was a dream. In the 1934 play Night of January 16th, the degree of audience participation was increased because the courtroom drama requires the audience to serve as a jury and determine a verdict for the defendant in the play. A form of complete immersion theater is a Renaissance fair, first held in Los Angeles in 1963, which allows for thousands of attendees to travel back in time by intermingling with actors in a venue created to emulate a certain point in history ranging from the medieval period to 18th century Europe. The boundaries of traditional theater were pushed again with the 1967 debut of the musical Hair, in which the audience is invited on stage to sing Let the Sunshine In and become part of the show. While immersion theater is not new, the popularity of this type of theater is growing and productions increasingly encourage audience members to break through the fourth wall and join in the action, offering an almost magical experience where the cast members and audience member exist in the same time and place. Gary Naylor from Broadway World has made the comment that immersion theater meets its desire to be accessible and to place the audience at the heart of the experience. Keep an eye on it.
Hi, I'm Lynette. Welcome to Hotel Indigo. I hope you enjoy your stay.
Good evening. The bar is open.
Poker, look round the table. If you don't see a sucker, get up, because you're the sucker. If that phone goes, don't answer it. And every phone line for miles around, cut.
Ruby, it was a simple enough plan. You were meant to fall for me to get me into the vault. Stupid!
Let's all stay nice and calm.
Contemporary immersion theater pulls the audience outside of the comfort of objective spectatorship by requiring them to adapt to a new environment. Venues for immersion theater vary from reclaimed warehouses to hotels to city streets, thereby allowing the replication of the actual location of the story or providing space in which the audience can explore. The site for the production, Sleep No More, loosely based on Shakespeare's Macbeth, involves 3 abandoned warehouses in New York City designed to represent a 1930s hotel, resembling what the New York Times called the Haunted Mansion at Disney World. Every audience member is asked to wear a carnival-style mask and to remain silent for the entire performance. They are also encouraged to rummage around in the bookcases and trunks on the set. Audience members are also allowed to follow the actors from bedrooms and ballrooms as they converse with, and in some cases kill one another. Similarly, the production Then She Fell allows the audience, limited to 15 people at a time, to roam through a mental hospital and drink potions in a macabre take on Lewis Carroll's story of Alice in Wonderland.
Then She Fell is an immersive evening-length performance created for just 15 audience members. The real idea behind this piece was our desire to create a world that our audiences could explore, to feel like they were having sort of an Alice-like experience, where they were by themselves for most of the time. We've taken the last year and a half to figure out how to make that happen through the various iterations that we've been working on. Really, what we wanted to do was create a piece where the audience wasn't just a passive observer, but an active participant, where your explorations was actually what was unlocking the narrative of the piece. And so what we've come up with is this idea where there's only 15 audience members, and so you're by yourself for most of the time. And every audience member is given a ring of skeleton keys. Using that, you can unlock various drawers and roll-top desks and stuff like that, and find medical records or history on Lewis Carroll and what actually happened between he and Alice Little. Find love notes, that sort of stuff. These things also give you access to hidden scenes, one-on-one encounters with the characters. We're also working with sommeliers and some of the coolest mixologists in New York City, and what they're doing is they're creating elixirs, and so throughout the course of the piece, you'll be able to sort of have that experience of finding an eat me or a drink me. The narrative itself is discovered through your explorations.
Shows may also be audience-directed, as in the Powerhouse Theater's The Boomerang Kid, in which audience members are each given handheld wireless devices at the beginning of the show, enabling them to choose the actions of the main character. The results vary from over 50 different possible outcomes. The Speakeasy is another example of an immersive and fully realized choose-your-own-adventure evening in which you could potentially get very wasted at the bar, lose $100 in fake money at the casino, and watch as the semi-tragic lives of a couple dozen 1920s era nightlife dwellers play out around you. Total immersion is offered in one-of-a-kind theatrical experiences now being called invisible theater. This type of immersion theater is acted out in unexpected places, and the performances are often disguised as reality. These highly interactive shows, usually mysteries involving solving a murder or kidnapping, are based in New York, Los Angeles, London, and Sydney, Australia. The audience works in small teams and travel through the city streets, encountering actors playing the parts of suspicious characters, offering a way for audience, especially tourists, to see the city in a new way. Accomplice New York and Accomplice Los Angeles are 2 examples of popular invisible theater production companies. In today's entertainment world, the expectation for a passive audience is dwindling. It is evident that audiences want to be involved, whether that means tweeting during television programs or attending an immersive theater production. Whether the audience is acknowledged, it is engaged in the performance, thereby generating a sense of enthusiasm for theater, which is never a bad thing for the bottom line. Charlie Herman, the business and economics editor for WNYC News, has stated, "This sort of immersion keeps theaters economically viable, and it's also relevant to folks who are accustomed to being connected and engaged at all times.